Hmm. Okay, Denis, and these Cossacks, did they come from different ethnic groups or were they homogeneous?
From different groups
Okay.
and even from different religions
Oh,
from
okay.
the very beginning. But you see, next when they organized like when they organized like the real force, of course they used religious to organize themselves. You see, to strengthen themselves. So they, of course, they at last they accept only one religion, Orthodox Church.
Oh, okay.
Orthodox religion was the main for them, of course, and everybody who wanted to join this Cossack community, they had to accept Orthodox faith
Okay.
because they officially people of Ukraine and Cossacks themselves recognized themselves as defender of Orthodox Church. You see,
Okay.
defenders from Muslim people,
Yes.
because Ottoman people and Crimean Tatars they belonged to um, they were Muslims.
Yes. Yes. Okay, understand. But the possibility of conversion was there. For example, if someone was of another faith or religion, he could come and convert to Orthodox
Yeah.
Christianity and then join the community of Cossacks, right? Did I understand you correctly? Okay. And I'm sure you did also research on their weapons of Cossacks. Did they use specific weapon type or different weapons they used?
No, no, very, very different. Very different. You see, it's even not easy to define the examples that were made local in Ukraine. It's not easy to define them. Even can you imagine? Because blades were made everywhere in Poland, in Persia, in by Ottomans as well. So many craftsmen from Ukraine went to Istanbul, for instance, or somewhere to Europe and bought these blades and bought everything and only made the weapon locally from absolutely different parts. So you see, it's like the international production, and it's not easy to define local weapon. We can define it only because of inscriptions,
Yes.
and different signs and coats of arms, for instance, and so on. And you see, we only have maybe few original art styles, maybe local styles. We can define the styles of weapon, but the weapon itself, types of weapons, absolutely classical. We have no original types of weapons, so it's sabers. It's maybe such very original type as cord. Cord. It is called cord, but actually this is a sword with one blade. You see, it's like a palace, maybe.
So it's a one-edged one, right? This
Yeah,
cord.
one edge. Yes, yes.
Is it like what we say in the West, Messer? They use the German word Messer. Is it something like that?
Kind of it, but Mesa had it was very long. See,
Yes.
long bladed weapon, but this cord could be long, but could be short as well.
Ah, okay.
And it had very special element for defense, for defense, a part of guard. it was in form of knob, maybe like the knob. If this is blade, so this was knob and nothing more. See. So.
Okay. I remember when I came to Ukraine a couple of times. You invited me; it was very nice. And I remember once the colleagues from Ukraine. I think they were most Ukrainians. Okay, sadly I don't speak your language, so I don't know. I couldn't differentiate. Maybe they were speaking other languages. And there was a heated discussion about chord. Do you remember that?
Yes.
and then more as two female colleagues sitting next to me, I was laughing, and then they were laughing as well because I couldn't understand. And then I asked my interpreter, "What's going on?" And she said, "God, they're speaking so fast, I cannot even translate because they were so heated discussion." Okay, the reason is, why is there always a heated discussion on chord in Ukraine? What's the reason?
Because chord, it's quite new weapon for research in Ukraine.
Okay.
It was well studied in Poland. It was well studied by Czech people. It was very popular in Eastern Europe at all, you see. Mm-hmm. But in Ukraine, we found many samples of it now. But they not studied at all completely. So it's a completely new topic for study. And people who started to study it, of course, they have many different ideas, and
of course,
because of this,
that's right.
World.
So yes. So sabers, they use different types of sabers. It could be a locally made. It could be Ottoman, Persian. They used cord, right? They also used
yes. As for blade weapon, and of course, axes, spears.
Yes.
And fire weapon as well, hand fire weapon. Of course, Cossacks mostly known as infantry. Infantry with firearms, you see.
What kind of fire mechanisms did you use? Matchlock, and then later flintlock and percussion cap, all types, or?
All types, of course. Yes. And they acted because they used to fight in wild open area as steppe. So they, as infantry, had to act with protection of wagon. You see, with wagon. Mm-hmm. So they built this.
I have another question for you, Denis. Did you have any records of local smiths names, or in the Ukrainian text that they talked about local sword makers or something? I know it's very hard to find in every culture. Did you find anything?
Yes, we have only few names of not ordinary smithies, but silversmithies. Silversmithies who made luxury weapon.
Yes.
But only few of them, you see. Unfortunately, we have no documents with names. We have when government in 17th century and 18th century, when government organized until now, we have these lists of people, and near many surname, they noted that they made cold weapons. You see, so because the surname in the times were closely connected with work, with profit of these people.
Okay, and understand. Denis, did they also use, and then there you found this by counting people and how many people live there, right? And then they could find the number, the names of these people. Did I understand you correctly?
Yes.
Denis, what kind did they? Did they also use crucible steel blades, the Cossacks, or welded steel blades?
Yes, they were very valuable, of course, but you see, it was very popular. They were very popular in Ukraine and as well as in Russia. And
Yes.
many of them came from Russia. In that times, the state was called um, Moscow state, not Russia, but Moscow state. Or
Okay. They called Russia Moscow state?
yes, in the times it was no Russia, it was Moscow state, and many Damascus blade, especially Persian blade, came from Moscow because in Moscow in the times there were many Persian Persian craftsmen, because Russian Tsar invited them from Persia, and many of them lived in Moscow and made for Russian Tsar and for Russian nobles this crucible blades, and many of them came to Ukraine. See,
Wow. Do you have record of them in Ukrainian texts or Russian texts?
we have a few documents, few historical documents about weapon that belong to hetmans, to high nobles of Ukraine.
Yes.
So they definitely have had they definitely had very valuable cold steel, very valuable blades, and Damascus blades and crucible blades as well.
Denis, I just did they also use bows?
Yes, yes.
What kind of bows did they use? Composite bows?
Composite bows, as Crimean Tartars had the same things, like nomadic bows.
Yes, but no long bow, no European long bow.
Not long bow.
Yes. Okay.
As I know, it was kept. Bows were kept for very long time, even in times of firearms. Many Cossacks had bows, especially nobles. It was like a sign of noble people. You see.
Yes, of course, always. Dennis, what I have is, because I was really surprised what you told me. You know, okay, given the fact I unfortunately don't know anything about the history of Cossacks in your country, just a bit. And when you told me that they were mostly infantry and they made formations of wagons and fought, which is a very good idea, actually. I mean, if I remember that, yeah, if I remember it quite well, I mean, for those of, we have many American members, actually, our channels, and this is something which we are going to talk about it. Most people who follow Razmavsar or even buy my books are from United States of America. This is very interesting. So, because now I know we have Western Europeans also, or also Eastern, who watch our channel, but I think we have like 70–80% Americans watching our channel. So I think the reason why I'm saying it is because it reminded me of how US cavalry before Civil War, also in the Wild West area, where in the great, as they back then called it, Indian wars against natives fought. They had the cavalry, and then like, okay, I know he's a very controversial figure, like General Armstrong Custer, where the way they fought, then they built up formation and fought. It really reminded me of that. Because before you told me that, I don't know why, I always had I had the impression that Cossacks were like horsemen. I don't know why I had this impression. Actually, now I'm asking myself, where did I get it from? That Cossacks were horsemen, right?